What's going on, brothers, and welcome to another episode of the Rebuild Recovery podcast, where we talk all things recovery. Not just about how to get clean, but how to rebuild a life that is worth staying clean for. My name is Hayden Thorne, and I've lived through addiction. I've walked the path of recovery, and I'm still going strong. 7 years in, one decision at a time. So today we're going to dive into something every bloke in recovery will face. It's called resistance. The weight that hits you when you're trying to grow, the friction between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the voice that says, what's the point when you're trying to level up? If you're building anything worth building, your recovery, your relationships, your body, your purpose, then resistance is not a sign that something's wrong. It's proof that you're on the right path. Every man who's tried to change his life has been met with resistance. The moment you decide that you're done living small, resistance will show up. You get a few months clean time up and suddenly the cravings hit harder. You're showing up at meetings and all of a sudden your old buddies start calling again. You start going to the gym and your brain tells you you've done enough, take it easy, it's too hard. That's resistance. It's not random, it's not bad luck. It's the test that separates who says they want to change from the man who actually means it. I remember in early recovery thinking, why is this so hard? I was clean and I was doing everything right, but life still kept throwing me punches. And I realized that's not life being unfair. That's life asking me, are you ready to earn it? Recovery doesn't hand out trophies. It actually demands evidence. And resistance is the evidence that growth is happening. When you were in addiction, comfort ruled your life. If you hurt, you escaped. If it required patience, you avoided it. If it demanded discipline, you found the loophole. And that's how addiction trains the brain. It builds a reflex for relief. So when you start rebuilding, your nervous system goes into panic mode. Your old identity says this feels wrong, not because it is wrong, but because it feels new. Resistance is the gatekeeper between your old self and your rebuilt self. It asks you one question: how bad do you want this? If you push through, the gate opens. If you fold, the gate will close. That's why so many men relapse or stay stuck. They mistake resistance as failure or as a sign to stop. But resistance isn't a no, it's prove it. Every rep in the gym, every early morning, every conversation that you didn't want to have, that's you proving it. That's you becoming the man your family can count on. Let's talk about how resistance actually speaks through the addict voice. You know that whisper that tells you to skip a meeting, that you deserve a day off, that one won't hurt? That's resistance wearing your voice. It's not evil, it's just your old self trying to survive. The addict voice hates progress because progress kills the addict voice. It feeds on comfort. It wants you numb. So every time you take action to break the old pattern, resistance shows up to pull you back. And you'll hear it say, it's too late for you. No one cares anyway. I'm doing fine. I don't need to push this hard. That's not you. That's resistance defending its throne. And when you start recognizing it, you stop negotiating with it. Because you can't rebuild your life and still keep shaking hands with the part of you that wants to destroy it. So let's bring this home. Maybe resistance for you looks like getting to week 8 in your recovery and thinking, I'm not changing fast enough. That's resistance. Maybe it's feeling tired of your job, frustrated with your partner, or doubting your self-worth. That's resistance too. Or maybe it's the little things like skipping gratitude, zoning out in meetings, or scrolling instead of journaling. Resistance doesn't always look dramatic. It shows up in small cracks that slowly weakens your foundation. When I was rebuilding my life, I'd go to bed with that voice in my head saying, you're wasting your time. No one really cares about this rebuild shit anyway. But I had to remind myself, of course, resistance was talking. I was building something my old self could never imagine. The man I was, addicted and broken, wasn't going to clap for the man that I was becoming. So I learned to listen differently. Instead of fighting resistance, I started using it as fuel. When resistance hit, it's not a signal to quit. It's a signal for me to lean in. You've got to start flipping it. When you feel lazy, just do one more rep. When you feel doubt, make one more call. When you feel fear, speak one more truth. Because every time you push through resistance, you're training your nervous system to believe you can handle it. Most men in recovery never build momentum because they think motivation comes first. It doesn't. Momentum comes from doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And that's where your self-respect will come from. You start stacking those wins, resistance loses its grip. You're not proving it to the world, you're just proving it to yourself, to your creator, and to the man you promised that you'd become. But character isn't built in comfort, it's forged in pressure. When everything's going smooth, it's easy to stay positive. But who are you when the bills pile up, when work sucks, and when your body is exhausted and then the cravings hit. That's where your real identity is built, in those quiet, unseen moments when no one is watching but you. Resistance will show you everything about yourself, your excuses, your fear, your patterns, and your limits. But if you stay long enough, it'll show you your power. Because the man who learns to stay steady when the resistance hits, that man becomes unshakable. I believe every man's resistance is designed perfectly for his purpose. If you're called to lead, you're going to face resistance in the form of rejection and responsibility. If you're called to serve, you're going to face resistance in the form of ego and pride. If you're called to rebuild your family, you'll face resistance through patience and forgiveness. Resistance isn't random. It's a test from life asking, can I trust you with more? When you push through resistance, you're not just growing a muscle, you're proving that you can handle the weight of your purpose. Faith doesn't remove resistance. Faith helps you face it with courage. When I hit moments in recovery where I feel stuck, whether it's in my business, my family, or health, I remind myself, this is training. This is how I get stronger. This is how I earn trust from life again. And that's the beauty of resistance. It's how the Creator keeps you honest. But let's look at this for a second. Most relapses don't happen because someone wanted to use again. They happen because resistance wins. Resistance whispers, you've been doing so well, you deserve a break. You're fine now, you don't need another meeting, or you're strong enough to handle just one beer. And because resistance feels logical, not destructive, men fall for it. But relapse starts long before the drink or the gear. It starts when you stop pushing through the small resistance, when you stop saying no to the old patterns, when you stop speaking up when you're struggling, and when you stop taking care of yourself when no one's watching. And little by little, you drift back into the man you thought that you'd left behind. So if you want to relapse-proof your recovery, don't just avoid substances. Learn how to outlast resistance. So how do you break through the daily resistance? Well, let me give you a few ways to handle it practically. Step 1, just expect it. Start every day knowing the resistance is coming. When you expect it, it loses power. Don't take it personally. You take it as part of the process. Step 2, name it. When that inner voice or addict voice shows up, say, that's resistance talking. Once you name it, you separate yourself from it. Step 3, move. Physical action breaks mental resistance. Get up, train, walk, sweat, move energy through your body. Step 4, anchor yourself in gratitude. Gratitude is spiritual resistance in training. When you start focusing on what is working instead of what's missing, the weight gets lighter. Step 5, connect. Isolation feeds resistance. Connection breaks it. Talk to a brother in recovery, message your sponsor, pray, speak up, don't hide. The men who grow are not the ones who never feel resistance. They are the ones who walk through it. You know what resistance really is? It's the price you pay for your legacy. Every man wants his kids to respect him. Every man wants to leave a mark. Every man wants to be remembered as the one who rebuilt, not the one who ran. But legacy doesn't come easy. It's built in silence, in the 5 a.m. alarms, in the days when no one claps, in the moments when it's just you versus you. That's the proof you're becoming the man who deserves the legacy. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. So here's what I want you to take away from today. Resistance is inevitable. It's not here to break you, it's here to build you. You've already fought battles that most people wouldn't survive. You've faced darkness and you've still chosen the light. You've rebuilt what addiction tried to destroy. So when resistance shows up tomorrow, when that voice says you can't, just smile at it. That's your cue. That's the call to rise. You don't need to wait until it feels easy. You just need to remember who you're becoming. The man who keeps showing up through resistance becomes unstoppable because he no longer fears the storm. He is the storm. If this episode hits home with you, share it today with another brother who needs to hear it in recovery. We lose too many good men to silence and resistance. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can get this message out there. And remember, resistance is the enemy, excuses are poison, and progress is built one decision at a time. Keep rebuilding, keep showing up, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Rebuild Recovery podcast.